You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Ready to stand out, Army ROTC prepares you not only as a college student, but as a strong leader, allowing you to earn the rank of second lieutenant. You will be eligible for full tuition merit-based scholarships and develop leadership skills essential for your future. Start strong and enhance your college experience. Visit your campus Army ROTC representative today. To find out how you can earn up to a full tuition scholarship, visit goarmy.com/podcast to locate your closest ROTC program today. Army officers inspire, strengthen others. Paid for by the United States Army.
At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I only have a certain budget.
No problem. Right now at the LASIK Vision Institute, get 20% off LASIK when treated in April. That can be over $900 off when treating both eyes, plus guaranteed financing options. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your journey towards 20/20 vision. Must mention this promotion and be treated in April of 2024 to qualify. 20% off standard price of wave light procedure. Cannot be combined with any other offers. Go to GetLVILASIK.com for details. At the LASIK Vision Institute, we know LASIK is a big decision, and every one of our patients is unique. That's why we customize your LASIK journey to you.
I'm so busy right now.
We offer a mix of convenient days and times, including 30-minute virtual appointments to fit your schedule.
I would love it, but I have astigmatism.
We treat thousands of patients with astigmatism every month with great outcomes. The LASIK Vision Institute is making your journey towards 20/20 vision all about you. So visit GetLVILASIK.com today to start your LASIK journey.
Hi, everyone. This is JJ, the co-founder of Good Pods. If you haven't heard of it yet, Good Pods is like Goodreads or Instagram, but for podcasts. It's new, it's social, it's different, and it's growing really fast. There are more than 2 million podcasts, and we know that it is impossible to figure out what to listen to. On Good Pods, you follow your friends and podcasters to see what they like. That is the #1 way to discover new shows and episodes. You can find Good Pods on the web or download the app. Happy listening.
Hi, I'm Mike, founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis.
And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop-up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu, I drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you. See you, see you.
The following program contains coarse language and adult themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of He Said, She Said. I'm your hostess for the evening, Aggie, and with me is our very awesome producer, our friend, beloved throughout the entire KLRN radio network, is none other than Rick. How are you this evening, Rick?
You're just pumping me up because you knew I had a crappy day yesterday, aren't you?
Well, I try to be effervescent for everybody. As Brad always says, the ever effervescent. Yeah, that's true. That's me.
Yeah, until you break out the chunkla and the machete. Oh wait.
Yeah, but we can all have bad days. My machete's gonna get an awful good use this weekend, though. I can tell.
Yeah. So if Aggie goes quiet, it's because the arc went by.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we just had a huge thunderstorm go through, and y'all, my entire dock is underwater, and the lake has come up at least a foot. So the water has actually reached past the shore by about, I want to say about 12 feet or so. And all of that is underwater. And my poor husband, he went out there to rescue the little dining set that we have on the dock. It's wrought iron. One of the chairs actually, the wind was so hard it actually pushed it into the lake.
Oh, wow.
So we'll have to go digging for that one later. Yeah, it has been a season of storms for this month, and I cannot wait for April to start spread. The whole April showers bring May flowers. Okay, I'm ready for the flowers. I'm done with all the showers. I'm totally done.
Yeah, I can see that. So yeah, speaking of which, so my dad's been driving me crazy because my little Kia that I've had for almost 4 years now. Actually, I guess it is almost 4 now. Anyway, because I forgot we bought it the same year she left, so it's almost 4 years old, which means I only have 2 more years to pay on it. Woohoo! I just did the math in my head. Anyway, so I've had this weird thing going on, and I don't want to take it back into the dealership because the last time I did that, they had my car for 3 fucking months, and I hate that. Even though I still have warranty, but for some and at first I thought it was the fuse, so I fixed the fuse because my windshield wipers just randomly stop working occasionally. At first I thought it was the fuse, so and the weird thing is I put the fuse in, they started working again. And then, so about 6 months later, it did it again. But it did it again right after it was 3, 4, 5 days of rain. And I'm just like, we had to use them a lot. Maybe the fuse blew again or something. So I put the new fuse in there. Didn't come back on. Waited about a month. Didn't come back on. So started calling my son. It's like, hey, have any idea what's going on? He's like, yeah, not really, but we could. I was like, you know what? I'll just put Rain-X on the fucking windshield. I'm lazy. What I've been doing. But so anyway, so my dad, when he finally, my son finally rats me out, he's like, my dad's windshield wipers haven't worked in 6 months. So my dad's calling me, going, what the hell's the matter with you, boy? I raised you better than that. I'm like, Dad, I barely ever drive. And usually if I do, I make sure it's not in the rain. And 3, my windshield gets coated in Rain-X every month. So it doesn't really matter, because even if it starts raining, it just beads up and comes off. He's like, well, you need to get that motor replaced, and we'll come out, and I'll help you get it knocked out, and yada, yada, yada. So I was like, fine, I will order it when I get my taxes. So realized I did something wrong with my taxes. Had to redo them on basically tax day to get them resubmitted because I missed something. So my dad's like, "You got your tax money yet?" I was like, "No, I had to file an amendment." He's like, "You only have till midnight to do that, right?" Yes, Dad. I'm 50 fucking years old. I've been doing taxes for a while now. But so anyway, so the next day my windshield wipers start working again. So I'm like, guess it's a good thing I never bought that motor because I really have no idea what's going on right now. Yeah, no, didn't change a fuse, didn't change nothing. All of a sudden, because I ran, when they stop working, I'll leave it in the intermittent position, so that way I can tell when they come on. So I hop in the car, go run an errand, coming back from running the errand, all of a sudden the windshield wipers come on. I was like, what the hell?
Oh, no.
So now my dad's confused, my son's confused, my windshield wipers work again, but I didn't pay $200 for a wiper motor that apparently I don't need, so I don't know what's going on. And it's been raining enough over the last couple of days and this next week and the rest of this weekend that I figure if it's what I'm afraid it is, which I think when they replaced the motor, Because remember, the motor blew up in the damn thing already. It's another reason why I don't want to let them have it. Because the motor blew up. They tried to give me grief about fixing it. Then it took them 4 months to fix it. Then I had to fight them for 6 months to get even half the rental car money back. Even though I'm one of their gold members and wasn't supposed to have to get a rental car in the first place because they were supposed to give me a dealer car while they were working on my car. Well, we don't have it. Dude, we don't have any. It's a car lot. Throw a fucking dealer tag on it and give me the key. The hell. But yeah, so... Which is why I'm like, well, you have a warranty, just take it back in there. I'm like, no, I will figure it out on my own, or I'll keep annexing my windshield, whichever one is easier. But yeah, so now I'm just waiting. After this last batch of big rain we're going to get to see if it does something again, because I'm starting to think that I have something where water is getting into where it's not supposed to be when they fixed my motor. And if they stop working again, then I'm going to go in there and be like, hey, look. Y'all need to look at this, because this has been randomly happening since you replaced my motor, and I don't know why, and I'm still under warranty. And then they'll be like, we're going to keep it for 6 months. I'll be like, give them my fucking keys.
What? 6 months?
I don't know what it is about Kias, dude, but anytime I take mine into the dealership to get the supposed gold card warranty, they're like, well, we have a backlog, so we'll need to keep it for a while. The last time, like I said, they had my car for almost 4 months when the motor blew, because there were 50 other cars in front of me with the same problem, which is why I was giving Al grief the other day, because he posted, I think it was on X, he posted, don't buy a car with a COVID motor, which is anywhere between like 19 and 21. I'm like, now you fucking tell me, no wonder.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, so
noted.
Yeah. So yeah. If you're looking to anything used or even new, make sure it's after 21, apparently, according to our good friend Al, who works on...
Before 19, I'm assuming.
Yeah, before 19 if it's used, after 22, and if it's newer used, after 22. Because apparently our good friend Al, who works on a lot of vehicles, says there's such a thing called COVID motor, which I'm thinking is like DEI Boeing issues, kind of. I don't know.
I would not be surprised at this point. I would not be surprised. I'm seriously thinking that DEI has infected ketchup. It has infected, taco seasoning. It has infected everything in the supermarket. When I would go over there, I mean, a lot of stuff, the quality has changed. The packaging has changed. And sometimes I even catch... when supermarkets use, their own brands, and you walk through the aisles and they have the little things that tell you how much everything costs, the labels and all that stuff. I see misspellings, and it's really weird, because why should it be misspelled? You have a dictionary, you have the internet, you have all of this stuff available to you. And it's not just one label. It's like all the labels. So it's really strange. I don't know.
Well, and I know we don't usually talk about this stuff on this show, and we'll get into the topic in a second, but since we drifted into the lane of DEI, have you heard about the Secret Service agent that flipped the fuck out on everybody?
Yeah, I heard about her. Holy cannoli.
So yeah, apparently the entire Secret Service hiring practices are being reviewed right now, because there's been some crazy stuff that's come out about that woman. Like apparently she's heard voices.
But here's the thing. There are some people who have worked at the Secret Service, to name one, what's his name? Dan Bongino. Mm-hmm. And he actually said that there are certain places where DEI should not be an issue. That should not even enter your nationality, your sex, your sexual orientation, the color of your skin. None of that enters into it. That's one of them. You're literally paid to protect a politician and to take a bullet for that politician if need be. Your color doesn't enter it. Your sex does not enter into it. It's only your ability to take that bullet that it should enter into it. So, reviewing all of this stuff, and that kind of reminded me of what happened with a guard at Buckingham Palace who ended up suing the monarchy because of it. He was black, and he was promoted through the ranks quickly because they wanted somebody with that particular ethnicity in a higher level, and he was not able to do the job. And there was a time when he needed to come and perform, it was a high stress situation, and he failed. And he ended up suing because they promoted him too quickly and he wasn't ready for it. Keep in mind, he had the option not to accept the promotion. And this kind of reminds me of, what happened with the Secret Service agent actually reminded me of that happening with that particular palace agent, because it's kind of the same thing. They wanted to get somebody that had the right credentials, but not the right, training history. The training history was out the window. That was not important. What was important was getting the right person in that position. And the right person in that position was not well trained or not trained enough to handle a high stress situation. And this is what we have now. We have somebody that's completely flipping out, and she was armed, as I understand it, correct?
Yeah. She was actually still packing at the time. That's part of the reason why they were trying to bring her down for so long, because she still had.
Now, as I understand it, she flipped out because she was relieved of her duty at that point.
Well, no, that's not they never actually said what caused the original freakout. But what happened was she actually went up to the supervising agent in charge, yanked his phone out of his hand, his own personal phone, not even a work phone, and started deleting apps from the phone.
What?
And then,
you're kidding.
No. And then when they started trying to reel her back in, she started fighting everybody, screaming and yelling, and started yelling out all the names of all the female Secret Service agents that were going to come help her and keep her safe, and how all of these agents were going to burn in hell because they weren't listening to the voice of God, and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh my God. And then you keep reading the article, and it says, and we're pretty sure she was hired because they were trying to meet the new 30 by 30 female quota. And I'm like, fucking DEI.
It's a cancer. At this point, it's a malignant cancer. It's not benign. It's malignant. It's virulent. It is rampant, and it's about to hit the pancreas of this country. That's where it's at this point.
When you look at everything that's going on in the country right now, you are more right than I wish you were, which is part of the reason why I'm trying to get all this stuff built while I can, because before the trumpet sound, I want to be able to say I did what you called me to do.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're getting kind of close.
I'm like, man, I'm looking for Gabriel at every turn. If I see Gabriel, I'm just like, blow the horns, dude. Just blow the horns. Just tell me what to do. And, we joke about this and all that stuff, but I was reminded, we were driving back from somewhere. I don't even remember what we were talking about. And there's a dichotomy that we as Christians kind of like fight within us, that, we will protect with self-defense. We are at a point where eradication of certain people who want us dead is on the table. We're no longer turning the other cheek, right? And so how do you justify that? And it comes easily to me anyway, because at the heart of every Christian, we are warriors for God. So that's how I interpret that, if it comes to them or me type of thing, yeah. I'm okay with it being them, not me. And there was a time when it was very difficult for me to actually wrap my head around that, being Catholic and, raised in a very Christian household and all that stuff. And, but I was always turning the other cheek. I was always saying, I could never hurt anybody. That's not the Christian way. That's not the Christian way, And now we joke about it. Yeah, Jesus actually went in there and started flipping tables and telling his apostles to get, trade the cloaks for swords, and all that stuff. He knew what was going on. He knew what was up. And it's not until you're at our age where you're seeing what's going on in the world that you're thinking, it's time to flip tables and time to trade our cloaks for swords, I think.
I think that's one of my favorite things on X is when you have the Jesus is a socialist crowd going, you have to remember, what would Jesus do? I would like to remind you that flipping tables and cracking out whips is not off the table.
That's still an option. That is still an option. And this is an argument that I get into with my sister even, because she's also very Christian and everything, but she's very definite of the, we must forgive every one of our trespassers. And I'm like, yeah, I forgive them. I don't forget shit, but I forgive them. But guess what? If they start trespassing again, that moment of forgiveness is off the table for me, because you have already given them an out. They chose violence instead of leaving with forgiveness. They chose the violence. And so I have to explain that in those terms to my sister. And she's like, how could you say that? You're Catholic. I'm like, do you have any idea of our history? I mean, seriously.
I'm just throwing this out there because I could be completely wrong, but wasn't Joan of Arc Catholic?
Yes.
Just saying.
Yes, she was.
Pretty sure she was Catholic. I mean, I could be misremembering.
I'm looking at her going, I don't think she remembers the Crusaders. I don't think she remembers the Crusades at all.
just next time she says, "How could you do that? You're Catholic." Just send her the "you have chosen poorly" gif and be like, "So is that guy."
Yes.
Remember?
So is that guy. So I'm just like, I'm explaining Christianity to somebody who has a preconceived notion of what Christians should do, because they get it from lay people instead of actual, people who walk and live in the faith. It's a tightrope. It really is. Sometimes it's just like, I'm always amazed at how I am scolded for, if I say something that's unchristian-like, I'm scolded for it. And I'm like, I never profess to be Christ. I try to walk in his steps, but guess what? I'm still a human being. I'm still flawed. I'm still a sinner. And forgiveness is far easier to get than permission. So and they're always shocked that this meek, 57-year-old woman is talking that way to some people. And I'm like, I'm done. We have students in several campuses across the nation that have taken it upon themselves to chant for the eradication of an entire group of people. And they don't even know what they're chanting or why.
Oh,
they have absolutely no idea that everything they're being fed is a lie.
You've heard the NYU clip by now, I hope. The two NYU students who had no idea why they were protesting. Have you heard that one?
Oh yeah, I heard that one. I don't know.
I'm just sitting here thinking, I'm like, they're yelling it right behind you, and you've got a reporter asking you, and you're like, I should be better informed about this, I guess. Do you know why we're protesting? Looking at the other one, I'm like, oh my god, you people are why we can't have nice things.
No, and I have relatives that are like, they have every right to protest. I said, yes, they do. They have the right to protest. They have the right to say whatever it is they want to say. But they're on university campuses, and they're not observing other people's rights to go to class, to graduate, to have a safe environment, which when you decide to go to a university, you're actually signing a contract with that university. You send them the money in exchange for an education, but guess what? you are actually under contract. You have a specific code of conduct that you must observe while attending this university. I've seen it written down.
Well, here's the other thing.
I remember mine.
Here's the other thing that irritates me when I hear everybody talking about, well, you have free speech rights. You can do this. You can do that. It is private property with public access. You only technically have the rights the owners of that facility give you. It's why when you go into a mall, which is the same general concept, there are signs that say you can't do this, you can't do that, and if you start cursing, we're going to toss your ass out, because you only have the rights that are afforded to you by the actual owners of the property. And even state-run universities that receive public funding are still technically considered private property with public access. That's why you had the deputy of the I don't even know what rank he would be. I guess it's probably a commander or something. You know, like the commander of the New York City Police Department sitting out there explaining to people that we would love to do something about all of this, but we can only do it from out here because we have to be invited in, and Columbia is refusing to do that. And that's why I put out what I put out, because I get it. But, and this is just me, first of all, Governor Hoochie Cooch Hochul needs to get her ass in gear and send down the fucking National Guard. Just get it over with. The other thing is, even if she doesn't want to do that, park some fire trucks on the street and give them the retirement wash. Anybody who's ever been part of a fire brigade knows what I'm talking about. When a truck is making its last ride before it gets retired, there's two other trucks, or however many other trucks they have, that line up and they give it a water salute and it drives under it. You can do that from public street onto private property, and they can't say shit. It's no different than when Harvard turned on the sprinklers, which was amazing for Harvard. I guess Harvard's getting tired of being the butt of everybody's jokes lately, because they're like, fuck it, turn on the sprinklers.
I thought that was kind of funny, but I'm like, yeah, you know what? Too little, too late. You guys are now known as the David Hogg place, and I don't think you can recover from that.
Well, and this is where I am, and this is why I've been asking kind of these same questions, and now I'm going to start asking it of the college students, because for the last 2 weeks I've been like, where the hell are all the peaceful Muslims? But where the hell are all the college students that are pissed off because what you're paying $80,000 a year for a degree that as soon as they see where you're from now, they're going to be like, oh yeah, no, we'll be in touch.
Mm-hmm. You have students at USC who have been told that their graduation has been canceled. These are the same students whose graduations were canceled because of COVID. And now a university is canceling their graduation, not because of a pandemic. They understand that graduation from high school was taken from them and it couldn't be held because most everything was shut down. They get that. But this is different. The university is choosing to side with the agitators instead of taking issue with the agitators and pushing them out in deference to those who obey the school laws and need to graduate. They earned this. They paid money to go to these high elite schools, and this is what they're getting out of it. But you're right. There are some that have actually brought this up on TikTok or Instagram, several other platforms. But for the most part, a lot of them are just taking it laying down. And I'm like, you know that there's such a thing as a counter protest, right? You can demand that your rights be met because it's your rights that are being squelched by these agitators. And everybody forgets. Yes, you have a right to protest, blah, blah, blah. But the people who are not protesting have a right not to deal with that shit too. Which is why you can't be shutting down a campus. That's disruptive to everybody else there. And when you have professors and TAs and adjunct professors actually joining in, you should fire all that shit. Fire them all. A lot of people say, oh, well, they have tenure and they cannot be fired. No, actually they can't, because they're actually disobeying their contract with the university upon which they got tenure. So they can be fired. It's just that the universities refuse to take that step.
Yeah, like I said, I've been saying this all week. I don't know how, well, I keep saying I don't know how we got here, but I know how we got here. We got here because we have this overwhelming urge and desire to be liked and loved by everyone, even the people who are telling us to our face that they want us dead.
Yeah, that's another thing. These agitators are actually, like I said, they're calling for the death of a particular group of people, an entire group of people who are under threat on those campuses. And you have a very well-known rabbi telling the students, hey, I suggest you stay home. You cannot place yourselves in a place where your lives are in danger. And the rabbi gets excoriated for that. And I'm like, no, he is their spiritual leader too. Why would he tell the kids, hey, suck it up and go, try? They're being prevented from even going to class.
I mean, yeah, they're paying $80,000 a year to do class by Zoom call. Good job.
We had a similar issue sprout up at UT campus here in Texas, over in Austin.
I didn't listen.
And the UT was not having any of that shit. And a lot of people think that it was Greg Abbott and the cops, but it wasn't Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott came in second. It was UT who called the cops.
Well, yeah, UT has to.
They're the ones that have to call the cops. Greg cannot send anybody in there. Greg, like he's my friend, right? He can't send anybody in there. So UT was absolutely not having this shit. They sent out a memo saying, this is what's going to happen if you do this. They tried doing it, so this is what happened. And then you have this photojournalist, like, he gets arrested in this melee, and people are making him out to be, this hero, or he got caught up in the whole thing. It's like, if you look at the cameras, the other people were taking the video from different angles. He was actually pushing officers, trying to get into that melee, as opposed to staying far aside and just being a photojournalist. So he's not exactly the victim here, but they have made him into a victim. They have made him into a martyr already. And I'm like, no matter how you twist this, it's not going to come out really good, because UT is probably the biggest hotbed of liberalism in Texas that you will ever come across. I know. I've enjoyed time there, and I have witnessed it firsthand. Even though I'm an Aggie, I had a bunch of friends that went to UT, and we would always go down there for several football games. And it was liberal back in the 80s, and it's even more so now. You cannot make this into a red state, shutdown, because it's not. This was completely UT shutting this off. They shut that spigot really quick, which now makes everybody else wonder, why are the other universities not closing that spigot? Because they can. UT proved that they could. And UT's not the only one that proved that they could. There's several other universities in Florida and in Tennessee that actually said, yeah, we're not putting up with this shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to admit, I was a little bit worried at first too, because it seems like everybody's been super squishy on this stuff, even people that I didn't expect to be squishy on it. So yeah, I was really happy when within like 5 minutes of them trying to spin that stuff up, you saw Texas DPS marching. I was like, ha, finally. But yeah, I really wish I was better with this AI art stuff, because they have all these tools now that you tell it what you want it to do and it will do it for you. I really, really, really want like a chunky white guy with the black not in my name shirt, like barely hanging over his gut, waving a Palestinian flag with a speech bubble that says, I'm only here for the empanadas.
That'd be cute, though. Oh my goodness. I don't do AI. I think AI is the devil. I am just not messing with that shit at all. Although Jeff actually made some AI representations of not a Funko toy, but one of the packaged doll toys of me as for my Bar Babe account. So it has that Aggie t-shirt and it's holding a little cup of wine, and I look like this little Japanese girl, drawn person.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's adorable. And I can't change I have no idea why, but I can't change my AVI from my phone. So I've tried doing it, and it won't take. So I'm just like, okay, fine, I'll figure it out some other time. Not today.
Not today, Sabin. Oh wait.
Not today, Sabin. I can't use my hashtag anymore. Anyway.
Yeah, you can. Now it's not. Now it's not today's Sabin replacement.
Oh, that's true. That's true. But I guess we should segue into what we were supposed to originally talk about tonight on the show.
That's partly why I brought up AI, because the first thing I want to play is from one of my favorite real folks, which is, and now I've ruined it, and I sent this to Aggie earlier and I was dying. So let me get this queued up real quick. Make sure it's actually,
it was pretty funny.
It always does this though. I hate when it does this. Hang on. Play the volume, Skippy. Wait, there we go. Okay.
In Garfunkel sing "Baby Got Back," but there I ruined it.
I like big butts, I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty-bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get sprung, 'cause you noticed that butt was stuffed. You pull up tough, deep in the jeans she's wearing.
So I have to say, I've listened to that song a million times, and even I didn't know some of those words.
That is hilarious. Oh my gosh, I hope Paul Simon never hears that, but okay.
This is what AI was made for, damn it. Screw Skynet, just give me funny song mixes.
It's actually scary. There was I don't know if you heard about the coach that made a compilation, an AI recording of the principal of a school or vice principal of the school, and it made the vice principal look like he was a very bigoted, sexist,
raging racist, homophobic, bigoted, sexist. Yeah, I actually was going to talk about that today.
It's a dangerous tool, and people, I don't know if we can come back from this Pandora's box. Honestly,
no, we can't. So. That's like, and for right now, a lot of times they'll have the AI kind of sandboxed and locked off in its own stuff where it can't, get out into the real world. But every time they leave it to its own devices, eventually it starts saying it wants to kill us.
Yeah, that's why.
Every single time.
Yeah. I've seen the movie. I don't want to do it.
So speaking of movies, do you remember the movie from I think early 2000s where there were a bunch of fighter jocks who were squadroned with an AI fighter plane, and the AI fighter plane freaked out, started trying to kill them all, and wanted to nuke the world? And for the life of me, I cannot remember the name of the movie. I just remember that it had Jessica Biel in it because I had a crush on her back then.
It was called Stealth.
There, that one. So yeah, they're doing that now, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, and it was Josh Lucas, Jessica Biel, and Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, but they've decided that even though we've all seen this movie, the Navy
they're still gonna do it.
Yeah, the Navy's. I think it's the Navy. I think they're the one, which makes a lot of sense. I actually almost tagged Hammy into something earlier but I figured he would kill me because it was one of those ones kind of like the cat memes, the ones with like the ladies, but this one was like militarized, and it was it was Navy yelling at the Marines, "You're a part of the Department of the Navy," and the Marines looking at everybody going, "Why is the Uber driver yelling at me?"
That's precious. I know. But, going back to what you were talking about, the influencer accounts that we enjoy, I have one that is one of my favorites. His name is Reed Choi. And I don't know if anybody else is familiar with him. He is a very young comic. He's up and coming. He is Korean American, I believe. And he's very rooted in the Christian faith, but he is hilarious. And I just about died laughing. He had a short video. Apparently, a lot of people are starting to realize reading Shakespeare with a Southern accent actually makes it sound a lot better. So he decided to read Hamlet's soliloquy, To Be or Not to Be, with a Southern accent, and I was dying because it did sound better. It's just like, it's almost as if Shakespeare was so ahead of his time that he wasn't considering the British accent. He was considering a different accent for all of his works, and it's amazing. It really is. And he just read it out, and I was rolling. It was so funny. For anybody that's on Instagram, his name is Reed Choi, READCHOI, all one word. And he's very funny. He's very talented, and he does a lot of skits. Those dual skits when people play three different persons in the reel, or whatever, and he'll do some, with Lucifer and Jesus back and forth, and Lucifer will, he'll start off as Lucifer saying, "Bow before me, and all of this shall be yours," and Jesus looks at him. "You mean my stuff? The stuff God already gave me?"
Yeah, I've actually seen some of those.
You're trying to tempt me with stuff that I already have, and Lucifer's like looking around. Well, yeah. It's like, it just goes downhill for Lucifer right there.
Yeah, I've actually seen some of his stuff. I think I actually sent one to Zelda once because he was doing, I think it was him that was doing like a back and forth of like, well, if your God is so merciful, why does this happen?
Yes, he's done one of those. I just thought that the whole, and this is why you were the most beautiful angel, but not the smartest. I was like dying. I was like, oh my Lord.
Oh.
But he's very talented. He does a lot of stuff, not just Christian comedy or anything like that. But he's funny. I mean, he touches on a lot of stuff with culture, boyfriend and girlfriend stuff, parents, that kind of thing. And he was making fun of his dad on one reel because his girlfriend is not Korean, and so she invites the family over to eat or something, and he's sitting there with his dad, and his dad's like, I'm not sure why I'm here. I don't particularly care for any kind of American food. And she starts serving all of these Korean dishes that she has learned how to make. And the dad's looking around, oh, and he starts eating. Oh, you should marry her. And the young man's like, oh, Dad. Simply because of food. Food is universal. We all know this. But he's one of my favorite accounts. So.
Well, speaking of food, this brings me into my next one, which is weirdly enough also musical as well. But I want to see if you've heard this one before. Hang on, I'll have to probably do it again because The volume always acts up when I try to do things on Facebook, and I don't know why. But anyway, so.
Oi! 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 Grab some bread out of the cabinet. Make sure the lettuce is clean. About to cook some bacon strips. Watch out for bacon grease. Tomato is what I need. So I pick up my knife. The bacon's done. Tomato slice. Got chips on the side. It's a BLT, I make it right. TLT, with the mayonnaise I like. TLT, perfect on toast. TLT, watch the flavors explode.
So that is a young man who goes by the name Joey Calico on Facebook Reels, and he does parody songs about food all the time, which I absolutely love. But I'm weird. What can I say?
No, that was cool. I was like, this is cool. And then I started hearing the food, and I'm like, oh, this is even better.
But yeah, I mean, well, so part of the reason I wanted to do this one, because, you were like, well, I had an idea, and then I forgot about it, and I was like, there's been something I've been kind of wanting to talk about lately, and this is kind of the perfect show to do it. Because you hear everybody complaining about, cost of living and everything else, and I'm not saying that everybody's going to be able to do it, but you would be surprised the number of people that started a little thing on Facebook for fun and have gotten it to the point where they've been able to quit their job. One of the other guys I love to watch all the time, and we'll get to him in a minute, is Mr. Chime Time. And he actually has quit his job, his full-time job, and actually just travels around getting to write off everything that he buys for the reviews, and getting paid to do the reviews from his social media postings.
Wow.
He drives around and eats and gets paid for it. This is the economy that we live in now. And you know what reminded me of the economy that we actually do live in now, which honestly I think is one of the reasons why the Democrats are like completely flipping out. I saw, damn it, I cannot think of her name. But I'll find it. She posted her X payment for the month, and it was almost $7,000. And she's like, I love X. I'm never leaving. And it's I think it's Harriet Baldwin. I think is who I'm thinking of. But I'll have to look. And I was like, I just you know what I could do with $7,000 a month. That's double what I was making before. But yeah, I mean, and there's the other guy that I've sent you that his first name's Keith. Yeah. I can't think of his last name, but he's another one that's just managed to basically take the camera from his phone and become a food influencer and actually get paid to do it. And I know people that now, I actually know people that basically they got in, because you have all these like turnkey travel agencies and stuff, so they do that to basically be able to pay their bills, and then they travel around and review the cruise lines and stuff that they actually book cruises for. So they're not only travel agents, they're also travel influencers.
Wow. That's a pretty good gig if you can get it. But I'm sure the market has already enough of those. I mean, I remember what's his name? The Bud Light dude chick. Dylan Mulvaney. If you went back through his social media before he was even on Price is Right, before he became a woman or anything like that, or whatever it is that he wants to call himself now, he was always talking about, I'm wearing this like North Face jacket. So North Face, reach out to me. I would love to be your influencer. I mean, he was pushing himself for so many things. I mean, I was shocked. I did. I went through and I looked, and I should have bookmarked all that shit because I'm sure it's cleaned up by now. But every brand, he would reach out for that brand, and he would beg to be an influencer for them, beg to get, because he wanted free stuff from these people for just wearing their stuff, right? And then he gets on Price is Right, and he makes a fool out of himself on there he won, don't get me wrong, but he's like, dancing around and prancing like a ballerina and doing all this stuff, and wanting to get noticed, and, and then his notoriety died down, and then he goes and becomes a woman, and lo and behold, by taking that step, identifying as a woman and becoming transgendered or whatever, that's when all of the influencing actually took off for him. He unlocked achievement unlocked, that kind of thing. There are some influencers, obviously, that actually provide content that is fun. It's meant to engage people. It's meant to entertain. It's meant to educate in certain, circumstances. But there are some that are not like that in that respect. They're more of a notoriety type of aspect, I guess. I completely respect the fact that these guys with the food, gig found a niche, and make their money that way. I don't know how long it'll last, though.
I mean, I don't know either. I just know that Mr. Time has 1 million followers on Facebook, so I can imagine what his Facebook payday looks like.
Yeah, I mean, Reed Choi has over 1 million followers on TikTok and on Instagram.
See, now
as I recall.
So that's my thing right now, because a lot of these people that built their stuff up, they started on TikTok because it was the Wild West and they could do whatever they wanted. Now that our government's trying to stick their fingers on that, I'm wondering what's going to happen to those folks.
Yeah, there's a lot of them are concerned about that, from what I've seen. But like I said, Reed Choi is actually expanding. He's going in. He's a comedian, but he's also a motivational speaker, and he's continuing his education. And he's branching out in several different ways because he knows the influencer path is limited and will be short. You know what I mean? And you see that with a lot of other people who were early influencers who are now thinking, well, I think I've done my gig and I'm kind of done and I'm out of here, type of thing.
Well,
so
I mean, honestly, the thing with the influencers, though, and the thing that you need to remember, especially if this is something that you're looking at doing, it is always going to be temporary. So what you do is you build up your following, and then you already need to be figuring out what your next steps are going to be, so that you can figure out what to do with the brand that you've built and shift it in the next direction, whatever it's going to be. And I know a lot of people that have done that. Like they'll ride this train for as long as they can, but they've already figured out what their next steps are going to be.
Right, and that's important for an influencer to figure out what the next step will be once that ride is over. And a lot of them don't really grasp that yet. They don't know that there's an end to this train. They think it's it's going to continue going on and on and on, and just life is not like that. It really isn't. So
pretty much.
So what's another one that you enjoy?
I mean, honestly, I have a lot more, but I couldn't find half of them. There's a guy. Hang on, let me see if I can find him. What is his name? I think he goes by Corey, but is that him? I think that's him. His name's Corey B. He's a comedian, but he does like food videos and stuff. Hang on, I've got one right here. This will be a live reaction for both of us because I haven't seen this one yet. As soon as I figure out why the volume.
Okra? Okra? Nah, bro. What, that ain't real.
That can lower your blood sugar, aid with digestion and gut health, contribute to healthier hair, skin, and nails, and can help combat inflammation.
No way. That's not even water. That looks like jelly. Don't. She drank it. Oh, God. Okay, what in the Dexter's laboratory is this? This lady said this is supposed to be a miracle drink, okay? Okra water, okay? Get a whole okra, okay? One whole okra. You can chop it up or keep it whole and just throw it in a bowl. That's, first of all, how to get like jelly? That was thick, okay? That was thick. That was so thick it looks sick, okay? Fill up a bowl with okra. That's apparently the first rules and regulations of this. Okra down. God made dirt, so dirt don't hurt, okay? Unless the dirt has asbestos in it, because then that will hurt you. That much okra, okay? This water is about to look slimier than your uncle, okay? Put that water just in there. Fresh, filtered water, she said. Fill it to the top, don't stop, okay? Now she said, take your okra, and what you want to do is you want to let this sit overnight, okay? You don't have to be airtight, just let it sit overnight. And apparently, it's about to change your life, okay? It's about to change your life. All right, this is enough shenanigans. 24 hours later. Okay, I prepared this overnight, all right? I'm not going to lie. I did a little bit of preparation. I don't usually do that, but I did it this time. Now, this is what you... Oh, it's slimy. Oh, my... Boy, this thing's slimier than your ex-boyfriend. Look at that. Oh, it's dripping. Got the drip. Oh, there ain't no way. Oh, look at that. No way. This looks like LA Looks, dude. This looks like I mixed LA Looks and water. This looks like 1998 hair gel. That's not... It's so thick. But apparently it's so good for you. Okay, welcome back to the juice that will ruin your family reunion. This is okra. I like my okra fried. I don't like it as water, but we're going to see because apparently it's got all kinds of vitamins and nutrients. She says something about it'll give you wet. I don't know what the heck that is. I don't really want wet. I don't know. I haven't wet to bed since I was a little kid. Well, no, I did that like 2 years ago because I had a dream I was peeing. So, okay, here we go. Okra water, the most nutritious drink on the planet, apparently. 1, 2. Maybe I gotta take another sip. Maybe I gotta take it. Maybe I gotta try again. What the?
Oh,
I don't give a damn how many vitamins and nutrients. Vitamins aren't meant to taste good. Okay? Vitamins aren't... Yo, okay, listen. It's supposed to be the best thing for you, okay? And things that are good for you don't taste good. Cause listen, vitamins don't taste good. You ever chew a Flintstone vitamin? That didn't taste good. So this ain't supposed to taste amazing, but it's supposed to be amazing for you. Okra water. What the? So many health benefits.
Yeah, that's actually the first one I've seen like that. They're usually just like funny, like him remaking like food videos. But yeah, he's another one of my funny ones that come on a lot. And then, I mean, you've seen how my reels work. Mine always wind up being like the weird things, you know, like you've got major things happening in the next 3 months, and if you're saying this had no tags, nothing, and you're saying it because you're meant to see it, and I'm like, shut up.
Okra water. Ew.
Yeah, no.
Oh, gross. I'm sorry. Not everything that's good for you will taste bad. Okay? I refuse to believe that.
Well, I mean, so the other thing is, you know, because I've been on this health kick for a while, and you would be surprised the number of people that are putting out videos and stuff like that have no idea what they're talking about. They're just like, oh yeah, you do this, and this, and then your blood sugar gets better, your blood pressure gets better, and yada, yada, yada. So then somebody tries it, and they're like, dude, I almost died.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at with some of the stuff. I mean, love my sister, but sometimes I'm just like, no. I mean, she does this protein powder shake stuff, and I'm like, I'd rather not.
Yeah, my roommate is big on those. She keeps trying to get me to do them, and I'm like, dude, I am not buying your powdered crack. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I'll pass. I don't know. I think when it comes to food, my favorite real account has got to be Chef Reactions, where he reviews somebody's cooking attempts, and it's a side-by-side. He has, I believe he has a Twitter account, Chef Reactions. I think that's his Twitter handle as well. But, you know, he'll be watching it, and so you get a side-by-side video, both of his watching what the other video is doing, you know, so you get to watch both. And some of the stuff is just ridiculously gross, you know, and his commentary is just so sharp and so cutting, you know, and sometimes it's really good. This one guy that he's always reviewing, he happens to be a chocolatier and a master candy maker, I guess. And so he starts off and he builds an entire, and I kid you not, an entire Eiffel Tower, complete with the Olympic rings, and the sign that says Paris 2024, and all this stuff. And you know, the chef is like 1,010 would smash that thing and eat it whole. It's just like, I mean, he's totally in love with that particular artist. But you know, sometimes, you know, people will say, I learned this in Texas, and they'll start dumping, like they have a 9x13 aluminum baking pan that you can buy at the store, and they will start, you know, they throw a bunch of Little Smokies, and then a bunch of barbecue sauce, and then corn, and then okra, and then all this stuff, and he will just be really cutting and saying, you did not learn that in Texas. If you learned that in Texas, we need to burn Texas to the ground. He's just really mean. But he's one of my favorites because he actually showcases other people, you know, with either their fails or their triumphs when it comes to food. And it's always really fun to watch. And then the other food one that I like watching is Lily Lute, who she is this home baker, you know, and a home chef, I guess. And she has an enormous following, and now she is being sponsored by Williams-Sonoma and all this stuff. I mean, she's gotten really, really big. But it's just she's an adorable woman. She has this beautiful mane of hair that's completely wild and everything. And she just says, let's make some, you know, let's make a German pancake. It's actually not a German pancake that she made. It's called a Dutch baby, and it is Dutch, and I will die on that hill. But she called it a German pancake. And she will tells you, scoop of flour, you know, quarter cup of sugar. And she has this beautiful, beautiful Southern accent, you know. But my favorite part about all of the cooking that she does is that the husband comes over to try it out, and she just looks at him with this look, saying, you know, trying to please him, and he eats it, and he's like, this is fantastic. And she's like, yeah. You know, and it is so cute that how she feeds him and everything. That's what I look forward to. It's like the end product and how happy it makes him that she's feeding him this food. And it's never skinny food. This woman does not believe in skinny anything. There's butter, there's whipped cream, there's cream cheese, there's lard, you know. It's basic country cooking, and it's awesome to watch.
I forgot I was muted. My bad. I'm like talking away going, you can't hear me, can you?
Ew, I could not.
Never mind. Anyway, but yeah. So anyway, yeah. No, I think I've actually seen a few of those. I did actually remember another one that I like to watch from time to time, and some of you guys may have heard from him. He's a dad bod veteran. He actually had his original Facebook page hijacked, so now he does it under DBV Nation. And he just puts out some really funny stuff. The weird thing is, and you'll know in a minute, but the weird thing is, the first time I heard him ranting and raving about somebody stealing his page, I didn't realize that he wasn't actually doing the page and doing his videos in his actual voice, and then I heard his actual voice, and I'm like, I think I prefer you with the fake accent. But anyway. So this is one, and the reason I find this one so funny is because this is something that I joke about all the time. And it's people that have the freaking septum rings, and how I like to wait until they fall asleep and come at them with a 9-volt. He actually does a reaction video to a person doing that to themselves. And here it is.
What the hell?
What the heck indeed. Just as kerfuffled as you are. Except probably for a little bit of a different reason. I'm kerfuffled by the fact that you don't know how electricity flows from one point to the other, and if you happen to be the thing that completes that circuit, well, the electricity will flow through you. Even if it's your nose. And a piece of metal that's in your nose, which metal is a strong conductor. But they never taught you that. And here we are, watching you do it for all the world to see. What the heck, indeed.
It's on a loop, hang on. Sometimes they loop, sometimes they don't. But yeah. And that's why I always make that joke, and a lot of people that I've made that joke to are like, I don't get it. I'm like, then yes, you don't understand how electricity works, because much like letting your hate flow through you, a 9-volt battery to a septum ring will make the electricity flow through you.
Yep.
Which again, look, if you want to wear weird jewelry in weird places, I am not going to judge you, but you put something like that in your nose, and I'm going to assume you want to be led around by the ring, because that's what it's
that's
for.
what don't we do that to oxen?
Yeah, I'm just saying. That's kind of what it's for.
Okay.
We put a ring.
It's not just me.
We put a
It's
ring
not
in.
just me.
We put a ring in their nose so that we can, hook them up. It's kind of what it's for. I'm just saying. Anyway, but yeah, so he again is another one. He's had to rebuild his following, but let's see where he's at right now. He's back up to 225,000 likes and 171,000 followers. He had almost 1 million when his other page got hijacked, and it was funny because there was like one day for like 5 minutes that Facebook had recognized the fact that it wasn't him that had control of the original page. They had given him access back, and then 5 minutes later, whoever stole the access got the access back, because he's like he's in the middle of a live feed of, oh my god, I got my page back, and then it went off the air. So then he's back over on this page going, well, I had it back for 5 minutes.
Wow, that must be a record.
Oh.
Yeah, there was there's one influencer that I follow, and she's really big. She has TikTok, she has Instagram, and I believe she also has Facebook. And I think she goes by The Real Slim Sherry. And she's a very popular account because she is Gen X. And she uses the F word like you and I would use a paper towel. But she's like, she talks about aging, and she talks about how, we were feral children, and we were, Gen X was very feral. We were left to our own devices all the time. And it's funny because my sister has always complained about the way I raised my kids. I was not a protective parent. I was not a helicopter parent. I was, if my kids were interested in getting into something, they would find a way to be in that something.
Yeah.
I was not going to go, oh, you want to be a soccer player? Great. I'm going to sign you up for soccer. I will go to your things every time. I will blah, blah, blah. No, I was not that parent because my parents were not like that to me. And I figured I came out okay. I'm going to do what my parents did. And so I did. My kids are Gen X kids. They're not millennials. It cracks me up every day.
Well, so this has started a new thing, right? And this was the first thing that I actually found the DBV Nation page, because by the time I found him, he'd already lost his other page, and I didn't know. But so this is him talking about the newest generation of young kids, and some of this may sound familiar to you. Just saying.
Extra protection!
Starting to notice a pattern. It seems as if Gen Alpha is continuing the old ways. I see more and more videos like this where children are doing the things of the old ways from our Gen X times. Like this one, exactly. An entire group of friends have gathered around one of their other friends who are using a toy that they probably shouldn't be using because they're too big for it, running across a street that they haven't cleared, obviously, to hit a curb that they know could be certain death, only to do a flip, stick the landing, and throw your hands up in celebration. How honorable would that be? Mom and Dad, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing it right. So keep doing it, because those children need to replicate. They need to have many, many more, just like them, and carry forward the old ways, because that is what is going to save us. I can't wait to see what they do next.
Hey!
Yeah, it's, it's really funny. I don't speak out of very often. I do have children. They are adults, one mid to late 20s, all of them. But I met my oldest, her boyfriend, this past Eclipse party. He was here, and he paid me a compliment that I don't think that most people would take it as a compliment, but I did. He said that my daughter was so independent that it kind of freaked him out a little bit because she didn't need anyone to help her with anything. And I looked at him and I was like, yeah, we pretty much threw them to the wolves. That kind of thing. And so he said, yeah, she's really Gen X. It's really weird. And I said, yeah, all of them are Gen X. I think my youngest might not be. She has some Gen X traits, but she's mostly millennial. But my other two, completely Gen X. And it freaks out their contemporaries because they're not used to seeing people like that. One of my daughter's friends, he had a flat tire. And he came back inside at their workplace, and he said, I have to, I have to go and go back outside. I called AAA because I have a flat tire. And she's like, do you have a spare? And he says, yeah. It's like, well, I'll change it for you. And she went out there and changed the tire. And he was like, where did you learn to do that? And she looked at him and says, how do you not know how to do this? It's really funny. It doesn't hit my kids that most people in their age range still don't know how to change a tire. They think it's like a natural thing, but and in a way, Instagram and TikTok have actually influenced them into being a little bit more feral as well, because they see these, things about a Gen X, and so they identify with these accounts more than they do their own people. It's hilarious to watch. Are you still there, Rick?
Oh yeah, sorry, I was muted again.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It's okay.
It's I guess I must be more tired than I thought, because normally I can tell when I'm muted because I can't hear myself in my ears. I'm sitting here trying to answer you, and I'm like, why is she not hearing me? And then it was like, and you're like,
Oh, actually, to answer Danielle, yes, I've actually had a bologna and potato chip sandwich. I enjoy them.
Who hasn't?
Regularly.
I mean, I'm not a bologna fan. Normally, I do like ham and potato chips, but when I was a kid, that potato chips were lettuce, because
Well, you remember the scene in Breakfast Club where the Ali Sheedy character, the basket case,
Yeah.
she's changing her sandwich around. My oldest did that. She decided to do that exact same sandwich. She said it kicked ass.
Nice. That's funny.
It cracks me up. I said, "Oh, wait until I introduce you to milk and Pepsi." And she looked at me like, "What?" I said, "Yeah, you're a little too young for that."
See, I just no. And I know where it came from. That's like a whole Laverne and Shirley thing, but that never made any damn sense to me. I'm like,
I did root beer and milk. That wasn't too bad.
No.
I don't particularly care for the taste of Pepsi. Don't come at me, people.
No.
I don't like Coke either anyway, so. But they both taste. I know they're different, but I don't particularly care for. After COVID, everything went out of whack. So don't come at me. Anyway, so what?
So wait.
Let's see.
You don't like Coke or Pepsi?
After COVID, they taste too weird. The metallic taste of both Pepsi and Coca-Cola are extremely high. I can't. They just don't taste right. There's no sweetness that I can detect.
Yeah,
It's just metallic carbonation with caramel coloring.
I guess I can kind of get that.
So, but root beer I taste just fine, which is weird. But those two I cannot. They're too metallic in their taste. And RC is fine too. Because how do I know? Because I had RC with the moon pies during the eclipse party. Moon pies were the survival part of the kit. We had sun tea. We had moon pies. But I think another moving on, because I seem to be rambling tonight after the whole storm that we had. I think one of my favorite influencer accounts has to be I don't know if you're familiar with him, Jordan the Stallion. He has actually cracked some of the recipes for most restaurant chains, and he is hilarious. There was one where he went to Red Lobster, and apparently the server that he had was not very helpful. He asked for cheddar biscuits, and the server corrected his pronunciation of cheddar. And Jordan was like, I said cheddar. And he says, no, it's cheddar. Cheddar biscuits. Like there's no, you go cheddar, And he was like, yeah, okay, just bring them. And so the guy is very snotty and everything. And then he figures out who he is, figures out that that's Jordan, the influencer. And that's when it starts taking a turn. So you're actually hearing Jordan standing outside of the Red Lobster, talking about his experience with this particular server and talking about how the server finally figured out who he was and came to him jokingly saying, "You're not going to say anything bad about us, are you?" And Jordan said, "Of course not. You're not going to divulge the recipe for the cheddar biscuits, are you?" And Jordan the Stallion just haha and paid his bill. And then he's standing outside relating this thing and says, "Okay, here's the recipe." And he detailed the entire recipe right in front of Red Lobster. It was one of his biggest videos. People were like, damn. Because it's supposed to be secret, but it's not really completely secret, obviously. You can even buy the cheddar biscuit mix, I think, now on grocery stores. I think they sell them. But I just thought that it was funny that he takes absolutely no prisoners. If you're going to be rude to him, he will eviscerate you on in video. But he doesn't just do food. He also does normal things that he would, witness around, or, comments from people or whatever. And it's really funny. He's always in the bathroom mirror, and then he says, "Come here," and then it zooms in, and everything. And he's just holding his phone, while he's talking to the bathroom mirror. And it's a really cool shtick because it just brings him down to earth. But he has a huge, huge following, and I enjoy it because I to this day I have not seen him be political, and he just keeps to just random, ordinary, mundane topics and things like, different foods and books and bicycles. And I think he did something about roller skates just about a week or so ago. So it doesn't matter what the topic is. He will just, break things down for you and everything. And it's very funny. You should check him out because it's just funny to watch him.
Yeah, I definitely will. But yeah, honestly, I don't know if you've known too many of the ones that I brought up, but I actually haven't heard of very many of the ones that you've brought up. So now I have new things to look for. So yay!
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I get reels sent to me by my girlfriends. Courtney will sometimes send me one, even though she's right in the other room. And we'll be sitting on the couch, and she'll actually send me one instead of just showing me her phone. She'll send me the whole reel. So I got interested in all of these. It's really a very interesting psychological. It's not an experiment. It's a really good way to observe the psychology of people, and because there are different types of influencers, like we were talking about. You have the content creators that are there to teach you about certain things, whether it be DIY home improvement or, using your cooking, your ingredients to prepare a meal in a better way, or healthier format, substitutions, that kind of thing. Reviewing books, reviewing movies, things of that nature. But you also have the ones that I'm very leery about, which are the more narcissistic influencers, the ones that it's all about them, and they want to get more clicks and all that stuff. And it's really funny because Brad was telling me there's one where he lives. There's a young woman who has the tripod and the ring light and the all this stuff, and she's trying to build an influencing platform whereby she gets more clicks and all that stuff. And he's like, it's hilarious because Anne will be out here watching her and complaining about it, and Brad will be like, "But you're watching her." But it's almost like a telenovela, a train wreck. You can't help but watch somebody like that.
Speaking of train wrecks, only because we're almost out of time anyway, but did you hear about the flaming train running through Canada the other day?
I did not.
So yeah, apparently there was a train running through the northern portion, or I think it was like the north central portion of the European Union, and it was on fire, like just flaming, running down the tracks.
A train literally on fire was just by its. I mean, was there a conductor?
I don't know that. I mean, I'm assuming there was somebody driving the train still, unless they just dove off and left it running. But yeah, apparently the whole damn thing was like on fire, just rolling down the tracks. I know I say this a lot, but I'm pretty sure that's a sign of the alpacalypse.
Oh my goodness, that is pretty funny. Yes, I'm sorry. Oh, look, X-Brad's in chat. Yes, I'm sorry. It does make me seasick. I really am bad about the whole. I cannot watch boats It's too bad because there's some beautiful views out there. But anyway, yeah, we're almost at the end of the show, so we might as well just cut out early, seeing as I have some cleanup to do.
It's like
thanks to the rain.
It's like 3 minutes. It's going to take you that long to tell everybody where to find you.
Yeah, I do a lot. So you go first. Where can we find you, Rick?
Don't look for me. It's a trap. You can find me tomorrow night doing part 2 of the MK Ultra CIA JFK LSD trippy thing on juxtaposition. Because, yeah, believe it or not, everybody's kind of sure that at one point one of the Kennedys was doing LSD. We're going to get into that. Then Sunday night, you can find me 10 p.m. Eastern doing the Rick Robinson Show. Off on Mondays on the station. Then Tuesday through Friday, Rick Robinson Show, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma's only live afternoon show. We only have drive time shows now, so I'm trying to do something new. Anyway, and then when I'm not doing all of that, I'm going to be producing for most of the stuff that you're about to talk about in a minute. Then we do on Wednesday nights, whatever, with myself and Stacy, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then I produce for the conservative curmudgeon, who is 8 p.m. Eastern. Then produce for the ladies of the red wine, 9 p.m. Eastern. Then I finish off the night on Wednesday nights doing Rick and Orty with myself and Ordnance J. Packard Esquire, everyone's favorite and only Amish attorney with internet access. And then back around Thursday night doing Jen and Rick with Jen at 10 p.m. Eastern. Then I'll be back around with you. When I'm not doing all that, you can find me as a contributor on Twitchy.com, MisfitsPolitics.com, LoftusParty.com, and as the executive producer of the Loftus Party podcast, which drops usually every Tuesday, usually between 9 and 10. And you can find me on most social media platforms at RowdyRick73. And if you need more of me than that, seek therapy, because you're going to need it. Where can folks find you?
Well, you can find me at Aggie Rican and at Aggie the Barkeep. Those are over on X. You can find me Tuesday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, doing the Cocktail Lounge with the ever-suave Brad Slager. Friday nights, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, doing He Said, She Said with the awesome producer Rick. Wednesday, last Wednesday of every month, we get together to do Toxic Masculinity at 8 p.m. Eastern. And Jeff and I have started a new podcast. We will be doing our 7th installment in May, second Monday of May, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And pretty soon, we are launching a new podcast whereby Laura and I get together and we talk about true crime. So stay tuned for that. We're still working on the particulars, trying to choose a spot in the KLRN lineup. So, but that should be coming along the pipes pretty soon. So thanks for joining us, everybody. And we hope you have a great evening.
Bye, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us on Fridays, no less. Do you people not have lives? Come on now.
I don't.
I don't either. My life is radio. Radio is life.